Hello, I'm Michael Forrest, and today's devlog is about a server-driven dynamic help menu that took me 10 minutes to build and then like 40 minutes to figure out something really stupid. Today I'm going to show you how I populated this help menu with content from my server using SwiftUI and Phoenix. So on Monday's CueCam Present session, which is a webinar where I kind of help people use my app every week, I realized that people expect to be able to access all the help information directly inside my Mac app, which I hadn't really considered. You know, it's all on the website, but I hadn't really considered this because most of the time I try and get help inside a Mac app, it goes nowhere. It just takes me to system stuff. So I kind of hadn't thought of it, but I realized it wouldn't actually take me long to implement. So, you know, on the CueCam docs site, I do have I have these guides, so I have these tutorials, and then I have all these individual little guides, like how to use CueCam with Zoom, and then that kind of opens up and gives you some screenshots and shows you some stuff, and you can search that as well and sort of get into those. And so it's like there's quite comprehensive help on the website, and it's searchable on the page, just not in the app. This is ingested from a Coda doc, and you can see that I have to update lots of the screenshots still. But yeah, so there's all these guides on there I'm managing elsewhere, but it just means I have all the docs in the database. So just, you know, ready to access. So this is the live view on the website in Phoenix. So the important part is groups and tutorials. So we've got packs, doc groups. So it just grabs, you know, and it sort of, so packs is a document format. We won't get into that. It just means that the files are sort of like related to it. But, you know, we can do it does attach packs. It sort of orders it by the right thing. And basically the difference between groups and packs. So packs, this is just a list of things from the database, whereas the groups is basically a secondary thing that allows me to put all of those documents in the right order and and just manage that on Coda and put them all in categories and in the right order. So that's kind of there on there. And then, you know, we've got groups here. So if we search for groups, you see I'm just iterating through that stuff. I've got some filters and, you know, all that kind of thing. And I render this stuff out with a bit of, you know, how-to doc. So I've got a thing here that sort of renders out those guides and stuff. But, you know, that's kind of the Phoenix side, but we're more interested in the Mac side today. So this, you know, means that I added a new endpoint to my to the website. So we've got in the app scope a new help menu. So it goes app/help menu, goes to public API controller, and goes into that. So actually all my other app endpoints are they require like a user token. So this is actually the first public API one. So I did end up like adding a new pipeline just for that. So it's just like lets stuff through rather than this one that goes through API auth. And then here's the controller. So it basically goes, here's the help menu function. It grabs those doc groups again, grabs those tutorials just the same way as on the website, and then just like turns them into JSON. So here's the groups. So the doc groups come through with title docs ID, and then that just like that's how easy it is to do the JSON there, and then that gets mapped into this pack JSON, and then the pack JSON is you know, ID slug, you know, status. So it's just I wanted to kind of minimize how much stuff was in there, and then if we have a look on Insomnium, we're going to see here's what that looks like. So we've just got this groups with docs title, and then just the tutorials is just basically a flat list. So, you know, it just looks like that. So really simple, didn't take long, not much to it. So now I'm in Xcode, and we're looking at the studio website. So this has got an enum of web endpoints. So every time I add some endpoint to the server, then I just create an item in this enum. So add that help menu thing in, and then just map that on under path onto the right route on the server. And then I created a new view, which was called tutorials and guides menu, which I stuck in the help menu. So once we'd done that, so how does this look? Basically, the tutorials and guides menu looks at this state singleton. So I do a lot with singletons in my Swift projects. So this is something I just created for this one purpose because I didn't want to be hitting the server more than once. So this just basically, it's got this, it instantiates once and it populates this guides from the content on the server. So we do a task, we go try it away, and it just grabs that endpoint into that guides response struct, and the guides response struct is basically just maps onto what that JSON structure is. So we've got sort of nested in here group doc, and we've got groups, tutorials, and then you see those, those fields that we created on the server. So really easy to just like pull that down, get that into Swift, get that statically typed. It's just really sort of a dream to do it. I've set everything up to make that sort of thing really easy. And then here we have it. I'm thrilled. Look, the menu has all of those how-to guides. There's the tutorials, there's a nested menu with all the how-to guides in it. So we can just, use that, access a thing, click on it, and go to the website. So we can search, and we go, so here I'm searching, but what happens when I try to search, my baby starts crying. This is really crazy, right? What's going on? I tried to search for something. I can see stuff there. Search for video pencil. Kind of go. My menu just keeps going. Like, that's a weird bug, right? So let's see what ChatGPT can rustle up. So I said when I use the macOS search feature and try and select one of the menu items created here, the menu disappears instead of allowing me to select a result. And it says, "Oh, you're describing an issue where using Mac's system-wide search is causing the view to disappear." And then it starts talking about stuff like that's how SwiftUI's menu works. It's not deeply integrated. It adds it as an overlay. It doesn't register its items in the same way NS menu items do. So when it tries to jump to, there's nothing to anchor to. And I'm like, wait a minute. That doesn't sound right. And it's sort of, as a workaround, it suggests that I should go to NS menu. And I'm like, no, I hate using NS menu. It's really verbose. It's really awkward to use. You just had loads of boilerplate to do anything. I really like SwiftUI's declarative approach. And also, this just doesn't sound right. So, I say to it, like, all the other menus work fine. I can search for the other menus. Oh, thanks. That's an important clue. If other blah, 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 blah. Oh, you can try this. And it's just grasping. It's hallucinating. It doesn't know what's going on. And this is the sort of stuff, if you've been working with the AIs for a while, you learn to filter out. And instead of like throwing away everything I've just done and rebuilding everything with this like really imperative, ugly, verbose code with loads of boilerplate using NS menu, I just sort of go to Google. Also, spoiler alert, that wouldn't have fixed it. And it would have just been really annoying. I sort of go to Google. I couldn't really see anything there. You see, I didn't even click anything. And so I tinker with it. And I was like, wait, so is it something to, what's happening here? Like, what's going on there? It's trying to like point. Oh yeah, when you search a menu, in the help menu, it points at the menu. So there's something weird happening here. And if I search for other things in the help menu, so let's search for report bug. Oh look, it says no results found. If I search for Discord server, oh look, we don't get anything. So that's a clue, isn't it? So what if I were to just take that menu and like move it up into the file menu instead? It's a very neat looking thing. And so, I try that, I run that, wait a few seconds. You're on the edge of your seat, I can tell. And then look, now the menu is over here. Tutorials, how-to guides, nested in. And we go, search for something. Let's search for video pencil. Let's have a look. Hey, look at that. It just needed to be in a different menu because it wants to search. And when we click on it, we get the guide. And it all works. So, it took like 50 minutes instead of 20 in the end, but I'm just happy I didn't lose my whole day to that nonsense. Because can you imagine, like, if I'd just gone the way the robot told me, and if I'd been Googling? No, sometimes you just need to sort of put your Sherlock Holmes hat on and figure it out. Thanks for watching this tutorial. Not tutorial, this devlog. I made it in this app. This is the app I was talking about. And I just want to, like always, show you my script. So this is the script I just ran through. We've got some titles. These are created in line with my teleprompter. And, these sort of like sort of map to different things in there. It's really easy to, especially if you're a developer, you can just like add in a hash and it'll show it in. We've got some screen shares where it jumps to the right web page. You see, I was just able to quickly jump through the web page. This is just a one take recording, and then I just trim it and upload it. I might not even trim this. Newly added feature is the ability to jump to a specific line of code. So here I've opened Visual Studio Code and jump to line 87, and then that allows me to jump through all those little different bits of code, and I've got my notes. I can remember what I wanted to say. Here's a screen share, Insomnium. We jump to Xcode. I accidentally made this this jump to code, but it's actually not too hard to sort of switch it back to Xcode. And then, you know, some screenshots, and if you have two screenshots in a row with different zooms, it will sort of scroll it when you go to the next slide. Google screenshot. And then actually to sort of do those demos towards the end, I created some little video clips, but I sort of trimmed out, you know, I sort of took some videos and then just trimmed it out to the bits that I wanted to show you and to sort of make it feel a bit more like a story. And so that's how I shot this video using CueCam Presenter, my app, the app I was just talking about, which in the next version will have much more detailed help inside the app. You can get it for, you can try it for free, cuecam.app/download. You don't even have to sign up for anything. And I think you're going to love it if you are interested in this sort of thing. Thanks for watching.